and I won't want you. You can hide. You're a ha 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 ha.
Common
If you wonder
Sense
why I don't look at
Radio.
you when I'm rolling by, I'm gonna be a wheel someday.
So I normally don't quote Chachi.
Good morning, you bunch of drunks.
I like him. He's a nice enough guy. Scott Baio.
Yeah.
He's been a longtime supporter of President Trump, and it's kind of, you know, and he was at the convention and that kind of. It's kind of random, you know, how he's just
Yes.
That's Scott Baio. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, Scott Baio.
Charles in charge.
But people act like, well, of course he's Trump. I'm like, okay.
Okay.
Anyway, he's been a Trump supporter, but here is where I think this is really cool. How he adds a certain layer to the understanding of President Trump, and it's important to remember that President Trump not only is unconventional in his governing style and his leadership style, although his leadership style is only unconventional because there aren't really any real leaders in D.C. that we've seen before. They're mostly just people who get along, and as long as you cooperate with the deep state and everything else, you're going to be fine. But President Trump is a real person. Like, he's the person who's been in the business world and has actually had to have conversations with people who are not elected politicians or bureaucrats. And so, yeah, I guess you could say his style is unconventional, but the reality is his style is highly conventional in our world, but not in the world of the swamp. It's just not conventional. Anyway, Scott Baio's on with Jesse Waters, and they're talking about the language style, because President Trump is from Queens. And that matters. Here.
Look, I'm gonna help the media right now. Okay, I'm gonna try to help them.
You sure that's a good idea? They might actually listen.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna try. It's not gonna go in, but I'm gonna try to help them because they've called the president. The president has dementia.
Yeah.
He's an idiot. He's not mature, according to Marie Harf, and any other name they want to throw at him. But Jesse, and you know this as well as I do, I'm from Brooklyn. President Trump is from Queens. This is what we do.
Yeah.
We mess with people. That's it.
And that's years of messing with people, they still haven't.
Yeah, they haven't got it. And so then there was another article, and it was written by David Marcus, and we'll put it up on the stove for you to read, because it's really important too to educate your kids in this way too, because America is a great country, and it's very diverse. And the diversity is even in the ways in which people speak, obviously. And I know that I'm sounding obvious here, but people don't really realize that people in the outer boroughs of New York City, and you're talking about the Bronx, you're talking about Staten Island, you're talking about, as Scott Baio points out, Brooklyn and Queens, and the way they speak is almost the same everywhere you go in these outer boroughs. And as David Marcus points out, it's often self-aggrandizing and hyperbolic. Playful insults, basically busting balls. Basically. Yeah. That's kind of what, and Trump spent his entire childhood pretty much in Queens, and still sounds like it. And everything he does in terms of his facial positioning, in terms of his gait, in terms of his speaking style, is all right out of the outer boroughs of New York. That's how these people talk.
Well, that makes sense. That's where he learned our language.
So accent experts, for instance, who help actors prepare for parts, there are a few basic elements of the Queen's accent. And one of the most important is that the corners of the mouth pinch out and do work that in most accents is done by the jaw. So you get you're just talking like this all the time, you know. That's and
makes me think like The Godfather.
Yeah, right, exactly. And this is from people who train people who otherwise are not from Queens to talk like they're from Queens. The chin out, lips puckered expression that President Trump is known for is that's how people, they squint and they look at you like and they squint and they give you crap, and they're just like, yeah, that's how they operate. Very confidently. It doesn't matter. You could be the poorest of the poor or the lowest of the low, if you want to put it that way, and you're still cocky as hell if you're from the boroughs in New York, the outer boroughs of New York. More important than his accent or diction is the grandiose content of his speech. The people, all these fools are trying to, psychoanalyze his grandiosity and his speech pattern, when if they just would talk to somebody outside of the Beltway or who's not on television, they would understand this completely. But it says like, oh, look at the way he speaks. It's crazy, The borough is known for in terms of the grandiose content. So, like this freaking guy, that kind of stuff. That's what they're constantly adding, I'm waiting 3 days for a cup of coffee. It's like, okay, you're not really waiting 3 days for a cup of coffee, but that's why the reporters will spend an entire day saying that President Trump's fact that he didn't wait 3 days for a cup of coffee is factually inaccurate. Another example of him lying to the public. Because he really didn't wait 3 days. And they're all such stooges. They have no mooring. They have no ability to understand nuances and speech patterns and the way people talk and that kind of thing. So yeah, you could. It's likely President Trump said, I waited for 5 hours for this guy. It's like, well, he didn't really wait 5 hours for him. He was only waiting 2 minutes. It's like, well, yeah, that's
right,
but that's
a figure of speech.
How that's how he talks. And likewise, praise, as much as people bust chops, praise is also overloaded. So if it's not just, if you're in the outer boroughs of New York, it's not just good pizza, it's the best freaking pizza in the world. I mean, and if you have a slice of pizza at one place on a Wednesday, it's the best freaking pizza in the world. And Thursday, if you have a piece of pizza and it tastes better, that's the best freaking pizza in the world. That's how they talk. So pleasure, displeasure, that's how they speak. And that's how you got the nuclear button talk with Kim Jong-un. Keep in mind, there's not a chance in hell that somebody from the outer boroughs is going to put up with some little fat flathead like Kim Jong-un. Not for a second.
Definitely not going to be quiet about it.
Yeah. They're not going to do the GW, Barack Obama, pusillanimous. Oh, okay, how much money do you need? They're not going to put up with that stuff. If you're from Queens, you're not putting up with it for a second. And so that's why when somebody's like, I'm going to blow you up, you're like, no, you're not going to blow us up. I got a bigger one. You little fat pig. That's just how they speak.
I mean, that is exactly how he speaks.
The article is up there. I'd read it. It's fun.
Yeah.
And I love the whole language exploration anyway, because dialects and accents and things like that are just so fascinating to me and where they come from. But it's up there on the stove. This is not rocket science here.